All right, everyone. It's another Q&A with Alan and Marshall. I'm Marshall Atkinson.
I'm Alan Howe with Easy Way.
And welcome to our show. And I think we're going to have a really fun one today. And we've got some surprises. But before we get into all that, Alan, how are you doing? Pretty good?
You know what? I'm tired. It's a good tired. I have been traveling. I was in Chicago this week, and I am so excited about our industry. Everything is opening up.
Well, hold on. Before we get into that, we want to make sure people are watching now.
Absolutely.
So here's the thing. If you're watching right now, we want you to say hello, and we want you to tell us where you are watching from. And more so, make sure you give StreamYard access to your face and everything. And you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook if you're watching on Facebook. Otherwise, you come over as a Facebook user, which is that generic kind of a thing.
And so, make sure you share this. Man, get everybody on, share this, and let everybody in the industry know about it right now.
Yeah, so we have some people watching, so let's say hello to some folks. So Sean's watching from Georgia. Hey
Sean.
Ghosta's watching from Sweden as always.
Always. How you doing, Ghosta?
Yeah, and Mark is watching.
Mark from GSG.
He's watching. Charles is here.
From Albuquerque.
Totally broadcasting from the show this morning. Sorry, Charles, that's next week. We're going to talk about that more.
Charles, you're coming to the show next week, right? Tell me you are.
Yeah, and Brian's watching from Missouri, St. Louis area. So
hey, Brian.
So thanks, everyone, for watching. And so if you're watching today, we have a lot of topics we want to talk about. So the way this show works, it's a Q&A show.
Yep.
So make sure that on our topics that you leave a comment, you ask a question. That's how this show works. We're here to help you, but we can't do it unless we know what you're thinking about. So it's really important that you use the comment feature and kind of leave some messages. You can also help us answer somebody's question just by leaving how you do it in your shop. We're very excited to learn that, right? So
hey, if you want to change the topic, have a question that's not on topic, do it.
Yeah, right. All right. So
we got more people.
Yeah, John's watching
from Richmond, Indiana.
Break from printing hoodies.
Awesome.
Are people still printing hoodies? It's like it was triple digits here in Arizona here yesterday, Alan.
Well, as I said, I know John's from
printing hoodies.
Yeah, John's from Richmond, Indiana, which is on the border of Ohio. And as I told you when we were talking, Marshall, guys, just so you know, Marshall calls me in Michigan and says, by the way, it's triple digits. It was 45 degrees yesterday. Yeah. So he calls and just makes fun of me. So, John, yes, they're still printing hoodies up here.
Yeah, Jim's here. Hey, Jim. A.G. Campbell's here. Hey.
From Georgia.
Richard's here, of course. Hey.
V. Richard Greaves.
Lead times on new equipment is 6 to 8 weeks. We can get into that later.
On some, yeah, that's a good thing, though.
Josh is here from Oklahoma. How's it going? Kelly's here from British Columbia. Hey Kelly. John says a brewery bar is stocking up. All right,
that's
great.
Awesome.
Thanks, John. All right, so thanks everyone for saying hello. If you're joining us just right now, make sure you do it as well, and leave us a comment or a question once we get into some topics. Now, let's get back into the lead question where you've been traveling a little bit, right?
Again.
What's going on?
Well, I was in Ohio last week. I was in Chicago this week, and it is busy. Everything is opening up. I am excited. It's not like it was. We didn't say it's not like back to normal. There is a next normal, and the next. Great technical difficulty. What, Marshall? What's happening?
What's
wrong with the screen?
What is happening?
I don't know.
Do we?
That's like emergency broadcast.
Usually, when this happens, that means there's some sort of breaking news or something, isn't there?
Yeah. Do we have breaking news coming on, Marshall? Can you fix that from your end? You have control of it. Oh, right there. Our graphics have changed.
I think we do have breaking news. What is the breaking news?
There it is. Look at that Q&A, Alan and Marshall. We are now sponsored. We have partnered with Graphic Solutions Group. And if you don't know about them, you get ready and hang on because we are so excited. Our big announcement is we have a partner on this, and we couldn't be more thrilled. What do you think, Marshall?
I think it's great, and I think we might have a special guest.
Who do we have?
Damn. Mark,
we go right to the top.
PSG. So, Mark, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Having a great day. It's warm, beautiful weather here in Texas. It's I think it's going to be about 85, 90 today and sunshine. So it's gorgeous.
Right. We're so thrilled to be partnering with you on the show. I can't even tell you. So,
well, we're excited too. It's when we first started talking about this, it was just thought it was a great opportunity. Love the show, love the format, and we just wanted to help make it. Hope we help make it a little better. I mean, you guys have done a fantastic job, and just want to be able to jump on that bandwagon.
Well, I don't think you can make it worse. No way. I'll tell you what, Mark, when we had you on as I think that was in February, and everybody, if you missed that one, go back in the archives and check that out. Mark, I don't know if you were one of the top 3 guests we have with views that week.
They must have had not much to do that week then.
I think it was because, one of the other top ones was New Year's Day, Marshall, me and you, and we don't know why that one was.
The New Year's Day one, we were both drinking. So I think that one is just everybody tuned in just to see how much.
It was like a brunch thing. But yeah, but I think, man, with Graphic Solution, such a great company, such great history. And I know for me, Mark, we've talked about this. I knew everybody back when it was Texas Screen.
Yeah.
But I am so excited, one, because Graphic Solutions does things correctly and right, but always looking to expand and how can we do it better. So, and you guys have technical and areas that Marshall and I, frankly, are not our comfort zone.
Right.
Things like embroidery and sign. So very exciting.
There's probably some watchers or viewers right now who haven't ever heard of GSG, Mark, because they live somewhere where you guys aren't. So why don't you talk about your company just for a little bit?
Yeah, we're a distributor for. We had 3 companies at one time: Back Texas Screen Sign and a Neo Sign and Screen, and we combined all those in 2000. I bought the companies and at that point, merged them all into one, and we came up the name Graphic Solutions Group. Then we've shortened it to GSG just to make it a little easier to say. But we've always prided ourselves on really 2 things. One is treating the customer and caring about the customer like they care about when they get products and the troubles and so forth they go through. And at the same time, try to use very good distribution technologies to try to continually be better at making sure we get the right products to them the right away, so that that they're not worried about getting their supplies. That should be the easy part of doing business, not the difficult part. So, and we want to make all of them successful. We have 9 locations in the South, and we also have one in the upper Midwest: Cincinnati, Milwaukee, and St. Paul, Minnesota. So,
and your other ones are in Oklahoma, around Texas, and Louisiana, correct?
Right. Tulsa, Oklahoma City. Then we have Dallas, Houston, Austin, and Baton Rouge. And then we run trucks throughout a lot of the areas where we have extended routes where there's really doesn't make sense to have a location probably, but we either have somebody living there and we transfer trucks back and forth, or we just drive trucks from whatever branch to support those locations. So.
Yeah, I know they run almost every day, Marshall. If you don't know the Midwest, from Cincinnati up to Detroit, and they do a transfer in Toledo, I believe it is.
Right.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
So,
great. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So we have some comments here, and as predicted, Jim says Alan's starting a podcast. We talked about this before the show that somebody was going to say that. So thank you, Jim, for coming through. Checks in the mail. Sean says we freaked everybody out. And Kelly says it's always hoodie weather in Canada, right? Summer nights mean comfy hoodies.
We missed some funny farther up too.
Do we? All right, let me go back. And Jim says he's liking the new GSG YouTube videos. So that's good.
Yeah,
right.
Those are great.
We missed a couple. So Frank's here from Texas. Dwayne's here from Utah.
Hey, Dwayne.
Mike's here from California. Greetings. Glad things are opening up. Richard said very funny. Carl says nice. Congratulations. Brian says it's only 40 degrees here, so hoodies. Saturday morning is a hoodie weather here at soccer fields. Yes, right. All right, let's skip down here a little bit. Daryl's here from California. Get it on.
Hey, Daryl.
Josh says GSG killing it.
Awesome.
Mr. Kitson's here, says gentlemen. And Greg will be back on our show as a guest host in 2 weeks because I will be at a shop in Montana and won't be able to be on the show. So look forward to that.
He's going to be finishing talking about what I wish I knew, the profit cycle. And it was just incredible. So
right. Jim says White Ink Wednesday.
That, and what if everybody doesn't know, White Ink Wednesday is a YouTube that special that Graphic Solutions has on YouTube. Go look up GSG on YouTube. They have them for screen, they have them for sign, they have them for everything. They're incredible.
Yeah.
And one of our, I know he's on here listening. Our good friend Mark Sildonic actually does a lot of those. So just doing a great job.
And Frank says, great news. Congrats, guys.
Thank you.
Cindy says, good morning. Happy birthday. It's your birthday, Mark?
That's right. It is Mark's birthday today.
Oh, well, happy birthday. Are we going to sing happy birthday to him later?
I hope you don't.
You know what? Rob Coleman, where is he at? There was a singing incident with him on here once.
It sounded like we're killing cats or something. Cindy says, hi, Marshall and Alan. Hey. And then Hurley says, good morning, gentlemen. So that does all the comments. So anyway, thank you so much for those comments. That's great. Keep them coming. Before you go, Mark, we have a couple kind of topics I thought maybe that you could help us with if you're game.
Well,
the first one is trade show excitement. So something's going on next week in Dallas and Irving, Texas. What's going on, and kind of take it away from there.
Yeah, it's the GPX show, which it was formerly the NBM shows. We're excited. I think everybody is to get out and just to see people and have that trade show excitement again and so forth. And I think it's a mask required show, but at least we'll be able to see each other and fist bump or kind of get back to normal. And so I know our team's thrilled. They're ready to get back into it and get back in the trade show buzz and so forth that happens. So we're excited about it. And
here's a bit.ly link for a free ticket. Sponsored by GSG. So it was really a long link, so I just shortened it here. So it's just Atkinson.fyi GPX GSG TX. So click that, get your free ticket, and come on by the show. Alan and I are going to be doing our show live from your booth. How exciting is that?
I'm so thrilled. There is so much going on there. It is excited, just as Mark said, just to be back at a trade show, to be able to see everybody. Yes, it is a mask show, but I know Mr. Saldonic, Mark, I don't know if you know that, sent some pictures. He did some cool sublimated mask with the Q&A with Alan and Marshall and the GSG logo on it for us already.
Oh, I haven't seen that. That's great.
Yeah, so hopefully I didn't get him in trouble. So yeah.
We'll be walking the catwalk with those on next week.
Yeah. But it's going to be great. You have a lot of new things coming up in that show you're going to be exhibiting. I know M&R has the Cobra, which has not been seen publicly. Some people have bought them. I've seen them, but what a great new press is going to be there. What else is happening at the booths?
Yeah, we'll have GST embroidery equipment. We'll have some direct-to-garment equipment, of course, digital equipment, so forth. It's going to be
Vanguard. Yeah,
we'll have a big booth, a good-sized booth. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Great.
I guess if anybody's listening that stops by, we'd love to visit. You'd love to visit with them on air, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, here's the thing: is we're going on air, Mark. Don't forget, an hour before the show opens.
We'll get them in if we want.
Yeah. So if you would like, if you're coming to the show and you want to be a guest, and especially if you're a GSG customer or would like to be a GSG customer, we'd love to have you on our show live. If you've got the bravery to jump in and be on our show, we certainly would love to have you. So I'm sure we can work something out. So and don't forget that we're going to be at a different time next week. And normally we're at noon, but because we're doing it live from the trade show floor, it's going to be 10 o'clock Eastern. So wherever you live, please adjust your schedule so you can watch us live next week from the trade show floor, 10 o'clock Eastern. And of course, all my invites and all the stuff that we're going to have will have the new time. And it's only for next week. So after that, we're at our normal time. So just make sure you make a note of it.
And Marshall, we can always, I mean, you and I are famous for being at these things and getting with somebody and doing a quick Facebook Live also.
Yeah, we'll be doing there hanging out until I have to leave for the airport. So I'll be there most of the day Friday. We'd love to hang out with you and meet you and answer questions and whatever. So,
really looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the next thing I think we kind of wanted to kind of queue up here is really about social media content, Mark. And you guys have put a lot of effort into your YouTube channel and some different things. Can you talk about the value that building on-purpose content for social media is helping GSG and why maybe a shop might look to be doing something similar?
Yeah, I think, it's especially with COVID, I think it all that was happening, but it certainly sped it sped a lot of things up as far as communicating with your customers digitally or through social media, as opposed to being one-on-one or trying to go visit customers when you couldn't. And at the same time, a lot of people, they want to click on a video. Who doesn't when they're trying to learn something new? I'll just watch a YouTube video and see how this is done. And so we wanted to make sure that we had produced a lot of education. Again, our role is to help our customers get better, because if they're better and they sell more, hopefully they buy more products from us.
Absolutely.
And so we really said we want to tackle this more from a technical side and a help side as far as social media goes. Some of that is telling a story and communicating your brand, but we want to do it in a way that we're also educating customers and giving them tips and tricks on how to use certain products to make it work better for them. It makes a difference. And that's one of the reasons we wanted to sponsor with you guys, to tie together all that social media to continue to tell a story and get our message out to to customers that either don't know us or continue to cement the relationships with those customers that do know us.
I think you're absolutely right. And it's not just about putting out content. It's about putting out good technical content. We have all seen it's easy to get on a camera or with a computer and a phone and just talk. But I know we have talked about, Marshall and I, about the right content out there and doing things the correct way, because it's all about our customers, your customers. If they're successful, we're successful.
Right.
And that's how we think an easy way. That's what Marshall's job is as a consultant. How can I make our customers successful? If they're successful, we all win.
Yeah, I think it's also important to be, show up, show your face, to have a personality.
Oh yeah.
I'm a big proponent of the most human company wins, that whole idea. And I think having a video where you've got somebody just talking, showing, and just being themselves, I think that really translates the medium and really helps you engage with customers. And you can do that with YouTube or whatever, but you can do that with a blog article if you're a good writer,
right?
And some people don't want to be on camera, right?
Right.
Like, I'm arguably, got a face for radio. I love writing, so, but I've invested some time in video, and I don't really do all things correctly or the right way or talk well. And there's people who are way better than I am, but you just have to be kind of brave and put the stuff out there and birth the baby and not look back and just do the next one, because it's all a journey and we're learning, right? So, here's a question for you from Agosta. He says, how did you choose the platform to go out on? So, Mark, what would you say to that?
Well, I probably didn't make the choice, but YouTube is really the choice that, we put it out on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook have links to that. But really, it ties back to YouTube, because that seems to be the where everybody goes to learn about how to do something. It's right. Usually a YouTube video. So
right.
That's really it.
I think.
So sorry, Alan. I teach a marketing seminar, and one of the things I was looking up some stats, and by this year, this is statistics that I looked at back in 2019, and they were saying by 2021, which is now, 80% of the traffic on the internet is video.
Yeah.
Right, and so I'm sure that actually is a different stat now. It's probably more.
Probably. Yeah.
Marshall, what did our good friend Jason Rink say, who's out of Austin, Texas, at the seminar? Everybody has one of these. The power of this is huge. And I think it's not just one platform. It could be Facebook, it could be YouTube, which are some of the main medias, but there is still a ton out there, and we've had to expand and learn. So this might be a good time, Marshall, to talk about that. It's not just live video netcast. I think that's the real term for it, but also how many audio podcasts. And we have started doing that also, haven't we?
Oh, wait. Well, hold on. We have a podcast now?
I think we do.
There's the link.
So we are now, it's not going to be live, but it is being put up. And now we are already on. The new logos with GSG are already up there. And I know we're on a lot of them. It's Spotify, it's Stitcher, it's RSS feed. These keep coming on there. I think, is it Amazon or Google, one of them, and one of them's not? Well, but they will be coming.
To all the podcast channels, and they take their sweet time to
Yep.
let you on.
It.
So, but this is the link to the podcast webpage, and previous episodes are up. And then what I'm going to be doing is on Saturdays, I'll upload the audio from the Friday show. So that's kind of the thing that I want to do. So it's just the same show. It's just the audio part. And I know a lot of people like to listen while they work. So if you missed the episode, now you can download and listen to the audio part. And we have another outlet for you. So there you go.
A lot of people do while they're driving still. I know I do. That's how I learn and listen. So,
right.
Yeah.
So we got a couple comments. Richard had a really good question. Where was that?
Go
So
farther
Mark,
back up. We have some big ones you've missed.
okay.
Go ahead. Hit,
So Mark
Richard.
says, how can we plan on an equipment purchase with the current supply chain constrictions?
Wow, that's a good one, Mark.
It is. It's a challenge, and it's a challenge in every industry. I don't know if you've gone to the lumber yard or Home Depot and buy 2x4s or whatever. You can buy them, but they're quite a bit more expensive. You know, there's and it's a multifaceted issue with. I guess it's kind of the bullwhip effect of people stopping all their ordering last March, April, May timeframe, and then getting going again. And the economy seems to be heating up quite a bit. And combined with a lot of things, there were 2 plants in. This doesn't have to do with equipment, but 2 resin plants in Texas that one of them had an issue last year, and then during that we called it Snowmageddon here in this. For a week, well, those plants froze and had to shut down completely.
Yep.
Took them quite a while to ramp back up, and all the shipping issues coming from China. Shipping costs have gone up 2,500% in the last year. So,
oh, is that all?
That's all. So I think it's going to be. I know we look at it and think it's going to continue for the rest of the year. It may get better, and certain products may get better, but you know, with equipment, a lot of the manufacturers, of course, they were confronted with it, what everybody else was, and had to maybe furlough some people, and now they're trying to get people back, and at the same time buy raw material that continues to escalate in price. So it's a real challenge, and will be, I think, for the rest of the year. Even though we're seeing a few things like on the ink side starting to open up just a little bit and get a little better, but it's going to take some time still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know our company, we're watching the raw material. While we're not as affected by the overseas issues, but those plants in Texas affected us a little bit.
Yeah.
And thank goodness we're knocking on wood. We're still, every order's going out, but we're watching. And
I watched the
hoping by the end of the month, June, it could start opening up.
Yeah, I watched the video last week, guys, where they were saying in the port of Long Beach, which we always go to Long Beach show. I don't know if anybody's ever been down to the port to see them unload those big ships.
Right.
But they do about 16, 17 of those a day. And right now they've been more efficient, and now they're up to like 20 or 30 a day. They have like 150 backlogged in the channel, right? And so a lot of stuff is sitting in a container ship, and those guys are just hanging out eating a sandwich on deck because they can't do anything, right?
Right.
And behind those ships that are waiting,
Or
they
stuff
should have already been on to another port, loaded back up, moving more goods. So it's just the snowball effect.
Right.
Absolutely.
By the way, I have to give a shout out to my wife. Who,
I saw that. That's the one I wanted.
She knows me so well. Love you, babe. We've been married 19 years this week, so she knows me. Hurley says, "Happy birthday, Mark."
Thanks.
And that's out of Canada.
You all have a great show. Have fun for Marshall and Alan.
Cindy, you're coming to the show, right? Tell us you're coming.
Yeah, we want to meet you, Cindy. Make sure you come.
You need to be there.
Frank says NBM GPX show should be called the GSG show. They really know how to bring it at this show. So there you go. You guys are famous.
Thank you.
We did that one. Keith says, I think watching a video that is showing the realism of the person is more inviting than a scripted video any day. That's why we're bringing it real, Keith.
Problems and all.
Yeah. And Cindy says, I guess I need to add GSG to my mile-long YouTube list. Yes, you do.
Just hit subscribe. That's what
I'm disappointed she wasn't already on there.
Exactly.
Jim says, I'm a YouTube certified screen printer. That's pretty funny. Gosa says, so cool. Brian says YouTube says 500 hours of content are uploaded to the platform every minute.
Oh, wow.
And then Cindy says, no, I can't make this show. Hopefully impression show. Okay. Thanks, Cindy.
Deeply.
All right. Well, hey, Mark, I know you got to take off. And if you're watching, you guys don't leave. We have more topics, but we need to say goodbye to Mark. So thank you so much again, Mark, for sponsoring the show. We really appreciate it. And we can't wait to see everyone live next week in Texas. So thanks a lot.
And keep watching, because with GSG, we have things planned of cool videos and maybe some product updates and stuff like that coming up. So it's going to be good. So Mark, thanks you again so much.
Good. Appreciate you guys.
All right,
looking forward to it. We'll see you next week.
Thanks. Bye.
I'll tell you what, Marshall, I mean, you know how excited I have been about this. A couple weeks ago, Marshall told me after the show, he goes, I thought you were going to bust at the seams and just blurt it out. Right. I have been going nuts. I have wanted to shout this to the world. Yeah, I am thrilled.
Okay, well, we still have that other half of the show to do.
Let's go.
So we have some more content today. So what's our next topic? Can you remember?
Workflow headaches.
That's it, workflow headaches. So I've been talking with some shops this week, and I think one of the things that has come up a lot, and I think if you're watching, you can agree that the actual decoration part, whether it's embroidery or screen printing or heat press, that's often the easiest part of what we do. It's all of the other stuff is where we get screwed up, right?
Yep.
It's checking in the inventory or getting the information in the work order or proofing or dealing with the customers or whatever. It's just your workflow. It's your process. That's where we get messed up. That's where we stub our toe, right? Alan, what do you think about this?
Well, I think you're right. You know, that front end part is really what happens and what can hold things up. It is all about logistics, and everything is a process. You know, yes, it could be decoration. Yes, I say in screen printing, it's all about manufacturing. But if you are lax in one part and starting at the front end of the non-decoration part, just taking the order and stuff, that holds everything else up.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a problem. We see it all around. Now, I know I have talked to clients when they have talked about when the online thing, you know, what do we do about Amazon? What do we do about custom ink as printers? And custom, you know what? The deal is what makes those great about online ordering platforms is it is painless. It is seamless. And if you are making it harder for clients to place the order, to come see you, to do whatever, that is a problem. And you've got to make it where it's painless for them, where the workflow is easy, where they can come see product, they can place their order, and you are right there to help them. That is the start. Workflow does not start once you got the order. Workflow starts the moment that potential customer and you start talking. And that's all about workflow. You know, how is your order process system? How is your production management system? How are you logging things? How is your shipping? Is everything going in on time? And are you all about logistics? Are you getting those have those things in order? Because the decoration problem, and I'm going to quote again our good friend Greg Capson, who is all about logistics, right there. And he has said before, and I will quote him, that, you know what, we're basically a logistics company and we just happen to print a couple hours a day. And that's what it needs to be.
Yep.
It just makes things so much easier.
Yeah. So we had somebody try to spam people. So I was busy.
I saw that. So I was rambling and talking while Marshall was doing that. We got this kinetic thing going. So everybody, we did see that. So
yeah. So anyway, we can't control who's watching, folks. Right?
Yeah.
So workflow headaches to me, let me tell you. So I've explained this to some folks before, and I think that your workflow, if we're going to use a metaphor, it's a river. Okay. And let's just use the Mississippi River as an example. Okay. And as everybody, grade school kids know, it starts in Minnesota and it winds all the way down through the United States and empties out in Louisiana and the Gulf of Mexico.
Absolutely.
That's your workflow. Okay. At the headwaters of that river is where your information, your sales, your order entry, it's important to get that right, because as your work order is going and winding down, imagine it's like a Mark Twain style paddle wheel boat, as it's going down the river and it's stopping at all the ports in the cities. That's all your different departments. If the work order isn't right, if your information isn't right, what happens is, guess what? We have to turn the boat around and we have to go back up the river because we don't know how to do something. We don't understand what's the shirt color? You forgot to put the shirt color. How are we gonna buy those shirts, or how are we gonna check them in on receiving? How are we gonna design the art, right? We don't know what to do, right? That's just one little example. So what we want to do is we want to make it easy for people downstream from us.
Yep.
Okay. So when you're thinking about your shop's workflow, right, I want you to imagine that river, and I want you to look for places where you have to turn the boat around and go back up the river to try and solve that problem. And that's where you should spend some time. And we all have these in our shops. Right. And so just think about that. That could be in any department, not just where we decorate. Right. Because a lot of times we're waiting on somebody else to do something. And the reason why we can't do something is because we're waiting on something. Right. So just think about that. If you've read The Goal, which is a fantastic book, they talk a lot about the wait times and waiting. Right. So we want to think about how we can improve our process. A lot of it has to do on who is upstream for me, who is downstream for me, and how we can make that process smoother. And so just think about that. And if you've got a workflow challenge, leave it in the comment right now. Ask a question. Let us help you with that, right? Okay, so
the analogy of the Mississippi River. I always think of it, Marshall, as you line up a row of dominoes and hit them going. And if you have one right out that's not there, then the whole process stops.
Right. That's a good one too. I like that one. So some comments here. Cindy says, can't make the show. Hopefully impressions. I don't think I was on yet because no embroidery. Okay, I think there's embroidery at that show, isn't there?
There is.
Great to see you, Mark. Kitson says it's all about logistics.
Yeah.
And then Daryl says, you either adding expense or value, strip down and consolidate flow. That's great,
perfect.
Right?
Absolutely.
Value added process, right? What is that, right? So,
I think, Marshall, it starts with, you know what? Every day, if I hear of a company and their website looks awful, if you're selling a product and your website looks awful, that's a problem. It can't be clunky to flip through. It's got to be smooth and streamlined, and it starts there a lot of times in today's market.
Well, we could go down that rabbit hole on websites.
Oh my gosh, unreal! Yeah,
right. So,
and it's never about having a great one. It's always you got to keep updating it and making it better.
Right. Well, technology changes all the time. Right.
Every second.
All right. Oh, Cindy says, sorry, the embroidery comment was directed to Mark. GSG YouTube, no embroidery shows. Okay.
I think they probably will start having some embroidery. I know they just did some sublimation YouTubes. I think Mr. Saldonic told me. So I would not be surprised if they don't start doing some embroidery ones.
Well, the folks at GSG are watching us right now like a hawk, so somebody's going to make a note.
I hope they're watching.
Right. Hold on. Domino's is a Grease registered analogy. Flo, slinky downstairs.
I like the slinky one. I forgot to give Richard Greaves the credit on the Domino's one. Richard invented Domino's. Did you know that?
He invented Domino's, really?
That and the question mark. He told me that, and I just believe anything he says.
That's great. So let us know, Richard, how you've patented the question mark and Domino's. We're very curious.
Yeah.
Here, Mike says we have several embroidery videos on YouTube. So, Cindy, you got to find them and check them out. So,
good. Thank you, Mark.
So here's an interesting thing. Maybe Cindy can't find them because there needs to be an embroidery section. I don't know, right? So think about that. She's looking for them and hasn't found them yet. So maybe talk about workflow, talk about process. There you go. There's an instant thing right there. So
yeah, and Marshall, I mean, even on a show like this, how many things have we changed over the year? We started this on a whim, and all we do is change things. And now we're trying to figure out how to get it on a podcast, audio. So we're always trying and looking and having to do stuff like that.
Yeah, we don't promise that we know how to do it or that we're good at it. We're just, our promise is that we're going to keep making it better.
At least try. Yeah.
So, all right. And Cindy says, oh, good, thanks. That was way back, and I had looked, but I will look again. All right. Thanks,
Awesome.
Cindy. All right, cool. So I'll be on time. We got enough for the last topic here.
This is going to be a good one.
Is about embroidery.
Cindy, we're going to need you commenting on this.
So, Alan, this was your topic, so take it away.
And it's my topic, and I'm scared about this topic because the Embroidery Bonanza, if there's something I'm weak in, I know a lot about screen printing. I know very little about embroidery. Marshall, I told you what I know. When that machine's running, do not put your finger by the needle. That's a problem. But what I have seen is even through COVID, yes, I love screen printing. I am a screen print geek. I'm proud to say that. But embroidery has been going on all through the pandemic, and it is still going. Those machines in every shop I go are humming all the time. I believe it's because it's more corporate wear. I'm wearing an Easy Way shirt that is embroidered, all of it. All my Easy Way corporate wear is embroidered, and we sell to screen printers because sometimes in corporate it just looks better. But what's everybody seeing out there? Why do you think that is? Is your embroidery going there? If you don't do embroidery, are you farming it out? I have a client, Marshall, that he's talking about, I need to maybe look at embroidery. He's been farming out, but he's getting so much going, why don't I just bring it in-house? Yeah,
I have one of my coaching clients who's going to the show next week specifically to buy an embroidery machine.
There we go.
And and they're going by the GSG booth to do it.
Awesome. How convenient.
Imagine how that all works out, right?
Yeah, I know they sell thread. I think it's ZSK embroidery machines.
Yeah, that's what they're looking at, actually.
Yeah.
So here's my take on embroidery, and the reason why I think it resonates right now is we're in work from home mode, and we're on Zoom calls, and we're doing a lot of stuff. And I think that you want to represent your company wearing branded something.
Yep.
And the go-to is a golf shirt or maybe a the 3/4 zip thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it looks the best with embroidery. Let's face it. I've seen some with a heat transfer. I've seen some with a silicone thing, and I think sometimes, depending on the item, it can come across really great. So if it's a really smooth technical fabric, having a silicone or screen printed or something on there or heat transfer can look really nice
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And, but to me, embroidery looks the best, right? And I think that's what you're seeing right now. You're seeing a big bump in that. Also, hats are huge. Everybody's doing hats. Hats are blowing up. And you guys that are doing embroidery, I'm sure you're doing hats constantly. I would like to know what item, if you're doing embroidery, what are you mainly doing the most? Hats, flats, golf shirts. What's the big thing right now that is just rolling in like a tidal wave? What is that? Could you drop a comment and let us know? That would be a really kind of fun thing to talk about. So Cindy goes, I think she liked your comment there.
We're talking about embroidery. She loves it.
Yeah. She will say, I've been doing embroidery through this whole mess, but I cannot carry the whole company. Just like screen printing area, embroidery is having problems getting mainly caps. That's interesting.
Very good. Yeah.
Is that because they're all made, where are they made? They're made in China. Okay. What's going on? They can't get into the port. I don't know for sure, but I bet you that's what's going on, right? So,
and on hats and embroidery, and correct me, most people on a cheap hat still do a transfer, a screen print, a heat,
leather patch. The laser etched leather patch hat is just.
Oh yeah, I love a laser etched leather etched patch. I got a couple easy way ones. I think a golf hat, a 6-panel. Those look great embroidered. So a higher end hat always gets embroidered.
Right.
Yep.
Brian says polos and Richardson 112 hats.
Cool.
There you go. William says, I send embroidery out. Being a one-guy shop, I don't think it's for me to add that process in-house. I've considered it several times over the years.
Yeah.
So that's good. So here's the thing you should do is write a business plan about what you're doing, right? 1, 2, 3, 5 years out, what will you need to pull the trigger? It's how much sales. Do the research. What do you need? You'll need to hire somebody. Here's the equipment. Yep. Here's what you got to do. Make a plan for that so it's not just you wishing it. The facts. Educate yourself, and that way you can make a sound business decision, and that'll help you, right?
Absolutely.
So Josh says all over, no damn hats. Leather patches. Daryl says hats, direct embroidery and patches, cap stock and colorways has been a challenge.
Yep.
Polos are a great job when I'm up and running. I was doing a bunch before the virus. Mark says we're running some pretty cool 3D embroidery at GPX. You talking puff, right?
Yeah.
Is that what?
That's 3D embroidery on there. They're embroidering, and I think Mark, correct me if I'm wrong. If it's done with the backing, the way the backing is on there, and they're embroidering over it that gives it that 3D raised look. It's really cool.
You put the foam in and you just embroider over. Right? So,
yeah, it's kind of cool.
Mike says we do embroidery in house, and our 2 machines are running hats nonstop.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm seeing that also. And of course, up here in the Great White North, I see, of course, embroidery on a lot of Carhartt jackets, heavy winter jackets and stuff like that get embroidered a lot. So yeah, the embroidery machines just stay humming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. I like embroidery. Tom, I was on a call with him, Tom Rowan, my Shirt Lab business partner. Mm-hmm. He had a new hat that was really cool. That it was a blue and white hat. It was really open mesh. And Tom says it's his favorite hat. I forget the brand, but it floats. It's kind of a dry fitty looking hat. Mm-hmm. And he was wearing it. And I'm like, that's a cool looking hat. And he's like, yeah, it had like a stretchy back to it. And so it's a kind of style. And it's like, it was really comfortable. And I'm like, hey, we need to do some of those hats for Shirt Lab. And he's like, yeah. So anyway, so Cindy says, no, it's the top foam.
Oh, it's on top of the foam. Okay, it's not over.
Yep, yeah. And then we have a bunch of Carhartt jackets waiting to find time in the machines.
Yep.
Yeah, I got you, Mike. I know you can't spell. It's all good.
Yeah.
I can't spell either, so I get that. Thank God for Grammarly. That's all I can say.
Oh, absolutely. Michael said, I think above one, it said he had a comment above Cindy.
Oh, I say sorry. The feed jumps, and when I click something, I click on something, and then I missed the one I wanted to click on.
Yeah, I got you, man. I'm your wingman.
But we have some contract orders piled up. Okay, good.
Great to have orders. We hate them piled up, but yeah, I can only do what you can do.
And Gosa says we have vinyl, printed vinyl, and embroidery on hats as good, better, best. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Love it. So, all right. So let's keep talking about embroidery. So, I've managed embroidery departments, and of course, I had a really great, talented team. And we were talking about workflow earlier, and one of the things I think that really helped our workflow get a bunch of stuff out is the notion of pre-staging. And so one of the things that I always did was get folks to find out what we're doing tomorrow and pull everything that we need and stage it at the machines, whether it's screen printing or embroidery or heat press or digital or whatever, and line it up in the order that we're going to be running the jobs in. Right. And so you should be doing this with your embroidery. It really helps kind of figure out what we're going to do. And because you guys do the math, right, how many stitches it is, how many runs that you can do in an hour. And so you can probably pretty accurately schedule for a shift how much you can get out a day. Right. And if you know that, it's real easy as the orders are coming in. You got orders that came in yesterday. You should be scheduling them out for next week, how many that you can do. And then now you know what you're doing on what day and that type of stuff. And it's just really using a calendar. And that can help you get more out in a day just by thinking about what you're doing with some time study kind of thing. So
I heard Eric Campbell talk about having all your tools right by there too. Don't have screwdrivers, scissors, everything like that where they're 20 feet away where they have to get up and walk. You have them all right there where they know how to, all your hooping stuff, all your backers, everything right there. Right. Great. Yeah. Look at that, Michael. Way to go. Consider getting more hoops to pre-hoop and stage like you mentioned. Perfect.
Yeah. I went, I used to live in Wisconsin, and then while I was up there, I went to Land's End, right? And that's just massively huge, and they do all kind of crazy embroidery, and they have a whole team. They have actually teams. They have a team that pulls the threads. They have a team that hoops, and then they have a team that runs the machine. And then how they stage is they have carts with the shirts already hooped, right? And so what's happening is when they're running the jobs, they just take it and they click it into place, and the file bloops over to them, and then they're just running the job, and then somebody else is doing the trimming. So it's just they have different people doing for each kind of process, right? So I thought that was just an amazing way of running the shop floor. So
I think that's great because not all garments hoop as easy as others. Some are harder, and if you have someone that's there hooping and pre-hooping them, then it just takes time. I've seen many times the operators just, those machines aren't running because it is so hard to hoop a garment, a certain type of item.
Well, they've got good tools for that, right? So you've got, you have the right equipment to hoop, right? You got the mental block now. What's the hooping board? The magic board? Crap! Somebody put it in there. What is the board that's at an angle? I can't remember the damn name of it right now.
Yeah, again, not my strong suit.
Yeah, it's the Hoop Master. That's what it is. The Hoop Master board, right? And that'll really help you because it helps you put the thing on, and it's a good deal. I know I've been to shops that don't have that; they're just doing it on a table, right? And they really struggle, right? So. All right, so we got some comments. So Frank says, any comments on the ROI on embroidery versus screen, vinyl, etc.? Well, it's like anything, Frank. Are you doing it retail or are you doing it contract, right? And so it depends on your business for the shop. We all know there's more money in embroidery. Why? Because the garments are marked up. T-shirts were marking up let's say a $2 T-shirt, right? But for embroidery, they're marking up a $90 cutter and buck polo, right? So there's going to be more money in that naturally than a T-shirt, right? So it just depends on what you're doing and all that kind of stuff. So I think embroidery tends to have higher ROI, higher sales than screen printing because of just the nature of what you're selling, right? So Greg says all the pre-scheduling and positioning is vital to success. We use Shopworks for production scheduling. Good. Richard agrees, gold-plated tool story. Richard, I guess he's setting you up there, pal. Richard says, mise en place and position of first use function of industrial design, Henry Dreyfus. Thank you. Jim says, I have a Craftsman roller box next to my machine filled with all my embroidery supplies. Yes. Good. Brian says, Joyce Jagger says she has 6 hoops per head for each size hoop and hoop tomorrow's jobs today. Perfect.
Awesome.
So, Brian, is that what you do, or is that just what Joyce says?
Now you're on the spot.
If you're actually doing that, right? Frank's got my back. Hoop Master, thanks.
Thank you, Frank.
We have a Hoop Masters, but I have an old school guy who is faster. Okay. Cindy also says Hoop Master, thanks. I just had an old guy moment, right? Mm-hmm. You buy the correct hoops for the job. Use several Hoop Masters and magnetic hoops.
Very good, Sean.
Magnetic hoops help with Carhartts. Using a board. Carhartt translates to calluses, builds muscle. Yeah, getting that jacket, right? Brian says he's not that organized yet.
So by next week, Brian?
Yeah. So what's holding you back? What's preventing you from doing something that you know that's better, right? Is it you?
Yeah.
Curious, right? Greg says embroidery is higher perceived value than bastardized screen print pricing done by printers who don't understand their cost of production.
Agreed.
Yeah, there you go.
Agreed.
And he's firing one back. It's the same as Alan's podcast.
I was thinking it too, and I wasn't going to say anything. That's
I love it. I love the poke in the ribs. So, all right. So keep the comments coming, and while we're waiting on that, I have a couple things to share. I want to talk about the Shirt Lab Women's Nexus real quick. So we had an awesome call yesterday with all of the speakers and all of the group moderators, and it was so much fun. This event is just going to be so dynamic, and I want to go over it real quick. And while I'm doing that, here's the link where you can get signed up, okay? If you're a Shirt Lab Tribe member, it's free. If you're not a Shirt Lab Tribe member, join Shirt Lab Tribe, but you can sign up using this link. It's $97. It's going to be a fantastic event. So here's what we're doing. We've got 4 dynamic leaders. We have Allie Banholzer, who you know has been on the show before. We have Melissa Clark, who is the director of sales for General Standard. We have Christine Shreve, who's just incredible. I'm a big Christine Shreve fan. And then we also have Johanna Gottlieb, who is vice president of sales for Axis Promotions in Chicago, who's also the Promo Kitchen president right now. She's super great. So we've got these 4 dynamic women, and they're going to be sharing their presentations and talk on women's issues, right? How do we get more women in the industry? How do we help each other out? How do we do sales? How do we do things? This event, Alan, isn't just for women. It's for everyone. Not at all. It's centered on these topics, okay?
Yep.
And we're going to do something that nobody's done before in this industry. We're having a 20-20-20 format. So what does this mean? This means that each speaker is going to do their presentation for 20 minutes. And then we're going to break out into randomly sorted groups. We have panel moderators that are going to help each group. And then there's going to be a discussion about what the speaker just talked about for 20 minutes. And then we're going to come back to the main group, and each panel moderator is going to share, what does Becky say? What does Susie say? What does Alan say? And kind of go over what the thinking was in their group. And we're going to be sharing ideas and inspirational stories and all kinds of stuff. And then the next speaker is going to go, and then we're going to randomize the groups again. So you're going to be able to meet tons of people, have highly engaging, effective communication with people, networking. It's just going to be just a great day. It's Saturday. I know it's Saturday, June the 5th, which is coming up, in about a month, and from 10 o'clock to 3:30 Eastern, right? And I can't stress how much fun this is going to be. Our group moderators, we have Marcia Derryberry, we have Nicole Rolander, we have Holly Trevino, we have, I forget somebody here, we have Marge Easterling, and we have Jenna Sackett. So it's just going to be such a fun group. And everybody on that practice session yesterday, let me tell you how we were just giggling the whole time. It was so much fun. So I want everybody here to get signed up. It's going to be great. If you're a member of Shirt Lab Tribe, we have an email that's about to go out. So look for that email.
Good.
And you can get signed up. And I think it's going to be great. Any questions with it, just tag me. Would love to share what's going on or help you with any way that I can. I finished the event guide kind of yesterday. I'm waiting on one little thing, and then it'll be completely finished. But anyway, get you guys signed up. Sean says, please provide the code for ShareLab members so we can sign in. Sean, I've got an email going out to you soon. Cindy says, have a jump out for lunch. Thanks for the great show.
Thank you, Cindy.
Daryl says, sharpen the axe, open to anyone, but also not for everyone. Thank you, bye, right? And what he means by that is you can say no. You don't have to take that order, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, just so you know, Daryl runs a one-person shop. Well, actually, he's got a helper, Griselda, okay? His minimum order is 144. All right, so don't think that you have to take that 24-piece order because Daryl doesn't. Okay, so
absolutely.
Right. So, all right. So where are we at? We're a little over. Did we miss anything?
You know what? We need to put up the website for our new sponsor. If they want to look at them, www.gogsg.com.
I didn't type that in. Hold on.
I know, but you could.
www.gogsg.com.
Yep.
How come I'm slacking on that?
Well, you know what? I didn't remind you. I'm failing as your wingman.
That's okay. Hey, I'll blame you. How about that? It's our fault.
How many texts did we have back and forth going, hey, did we remind each other of this and that all week leading up to this? So
anyway, let's close the show with just a shout out to GSG. Thank you so much for sponsoring us.
Yep.
This is our goofy little experiment that we did on a whim, and now we have a show with a sponsor. Can you believe it? I mean,
a huge sponsor, a badass sponsor. I can't believe it. So, who would have known? If you would have told me this when we started that, Marshall, when we did the first live one at Atlantic City or Long Beach last year, if you would have told me, hey, here's what's going to happen a year and a half later, I'm like, get out of town.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. Crazy. Mike Woolbright was in the audience on that. And who else was in there that's on our show right now?
Allie was there.
Allie
was there.
Marge was there.
Marge was there.
Who else was there? I can't remember. But anyway, we've traveled a little bit, and we've got so much more fun, so much more education coming. And don't forget, we'll be at live next week, different time. Make sure you set your alarm clock, your calendar, right? And look for our posts. I'm sure we're going to have something about it. Live from the trade show floor. Can't wait.
At the GSG booth.
GSG booth, right. And
Yep,
see everyone next week. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone.
See ya.